welcome to Joe and Andrew's Education Adventures.
And today we have Noah Conaway, our Esports advisor and science teacher at our school, as our guest. Thank you for joining us today, Noah.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So, Noah, we were excited to have you in for a number of reasons, but one of them is because you are one of the many teachers on our campus now who actually have experienced Paloma as a student and now as a teacher. And so we were hoping to hear a little bit about, I watched an episode of Community last night, and on that episode, one of the students becomes a teacher, and it's like just crazy different as a teacher. So I was wondering, what is some of the things that you've noticed that's different about your experience in high school as a teacher versus as a student?
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to go straight from Paloma, get my degree, and then I came back right as a teacher. I worked as an avid tutor, and that's where I first got my glimpse of what goes on behind the scenes as a teacher. And then I started subbing, which made me push me even more towards teaching, and then I actually became a teacher. You have this great community of coworkers and everything like that. It's amazing. As a student, you don't really see that, and you just see the one teacher that you have. But there's so much collaboration that goes on behind the scenes. And just having those people to talk to is just really, really helpful as far as me growing as an educator and making sure my students get the best out of my class.
The way Paloma's set up, right? You get to actually step inside those interior hallways that students really should never see. And I know sometimes they do, but that's such a cool thing to be able to pop in there and just check in with one another and bounce an idea real quick. So that's cool that you got to see that.
Yeah, that's definitely something I always look forward to whenever we're on campus, is going back into the pod and just reflecting on how my day's going with my C-pod people and just getting to talk and just relax and just catch up with everybody and everything like that.
Remind our audience again of what you exactly teach, and tell us a little more about what you like about your department.
This year, I'm teaching chemistry and physics. This is my first year at Paloma teaching chemistry, and then I taught biology last year, so... the science department is my family. They welcome me in with loving arms. I had Miss West as a student, and now that she's one of my coworkers, she's the one that I always turn to if I have any questions or anything like that. I also have Dr. Heine, who's also been very helpful. He's guided me through how to teach physics and everything like that. Our conversations are very meaningful. We always make sure that we get the most out of each other. We challenge each other, and they're my family.
That's awesome. Yeah, Dr. Heine is 2 doors down from me, so I see him regularly out walking his dog, and we've been good. We've social distanced, but we get to hang out a little bit here and there. So shout out to Heine and the Ridgemore crew. What's something as a student that you loved about Paloma?
I just love the sense of community that we have on campus. That's something that I saw a lot whenever I was subbing. Whenever there's anything going on in the community or something that happens at school, we always come together. The school culture, we've always been competitive, which I've taken into esports. We always are trying to perform at the best that we can, both academically and extracurricular. We're always trying to do our best, which is really awesome and really cool to be a part of.
What year did you graduate from Paloma?
So I graduated in 2013. I came back as an avid tutor halfway through having a semester off of Paloma. So I kind of never left.
And I love that you even though you jumped right in, that you had different ways of testing, is this career really for me, right? Like you did the avid tutoring, then you did sub, and then after testing it a little while, you're like, okay, this is the career for me. I think that's really wise. And I wish we had more pathways like that for a lot of different careers. Speaking of, if you couldn't be a teacher, or if you could do anything besides teaching, what career would you go for?
I'd probably go with what I was thinking I was going to be when I was growing up, and that was either like a marine biologist or somebody that works with animals. I really am fascinated by the ocean and just how much we don't know about it. If I could be a trainer at SeaWorld, I would be the happiest person in the world. But honestly, teaching is the career that fits me. Whenever we go to school, I don't feel like I'm working at all. It's awesome that I'm getting paid to do a job that I love. So
that's awesome, right? To do something you love, get to work with these awesome students. So I love that you have started this new club.
Yes.
And especially in this year of COVID when it's really hard to get together. You've created a way for students to be getting together and are expanding that even out to us, the teachers. So
Yeah.
talk a little bit about esports and.
Yeah, so esports is something that I've been a part of. I'm relatively kind of familiar with it before I even got into it, and there's a lot of stuff that I've learned from doing this. It's an amazing opportunity, and we're kind of blessed in a sense because a lot of people, whenever this COVID-19 happened, they turned to video games, and that boosts us because now we can give them something to do with it. There's so much going on in the esports community. There's so many opportunities out there, scholarships, internships, fellowships, everything like that. That's something that kids don't really know about, and I can actually help them and get them in the right path to be able to figure that stuff out.
What are some of the stereotypes of an esport athlete?
Yeah, so the main one that I think of whenever people talk about esports is it's just people playing video games and they're not going to get anything out of it. There's a lot of scholarship opportunities out there for people that do this. You can go a lot further in the technology industry because there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes as far as
That's true.
Video gaming and stuff like that. A lot of people they get to where they are because of their knowledge of everything going on. Another thing is that we just do gaming. We just do games. There's a lot more other opportunities out there. Coding is a major thing among students that are in esports. There's shoutcasting, which is basically like broadcasting actual like video game tournaments. So for the tournaments, they have to have commentators. We have a lot of different roles within our club because we only technically have about like 4 games, I believe, that we're actually actively participating in. And our club has about 100 members right now. And it keeps growing. Like I got 4 emails today from kids saying, hey, how can I sign up? And so there's different roles in there. We have graphic designers that can design logos.
Cool.
We have marketing. We have event organizers and everything like that. There's just so much going on with esports, and it's way more than just video games.
Nice.
Yeah,
hey, Coach Ellett, at 100 members, they would be one of the biggest teams if it was like in the athletics department, right, on campus, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it sounds like football would rival it, and yep.
That's pretty cool.
I think that might be it right now as far as rivaling that for one. So that's incredible.
Yeah, and that's one thing too. Like with other clubs, I've been thinking about this quite a bit. We just have to I think we're getting to the point now of actually collaborating with other clubs, and possibly because of this whole pandemic. One thing that you might have saw at the early beginning is that major athletes were actually doing tournaments where they would play.
That's true.
The video game of basketball games and stuff like that. So I was thinking maybe our football team could do a football tournament.
Yeah.
Where we all play Madden and we can stream it on our Twitch channel that we have now. That's maybe cool. Do it with other schools in the district and just see make a giant tournament out of that and just get that out to kids, because right now they're just struggling as far as finding something to keep them busy and stuff like that. And just building school community is really cool with esports, and that's something that we could strive to do as well. So
yeah, that sounds really cool. And I loved hearing about all the different aspects of the club. It's not, like you said, it's not just gaming, which I accept that now. And but just to hear about graphic design, organization, or organizing the events, all of that's neat, and that allows students to not only have fun gaming with one another, but also build some skills that are life skills and marketable, which that's awesome.
Yeah. Whenever I took over summer, I took an actual coding class, and it just opened my eyes to how much you can do if you learn how to code and everything with computers. And a lot of my kids know how to do that, and that's something that they want to go into. They're wanting to. There was actually an esports summit put on by US College Expo last week that talks about just different careers, different coding opportunities, everything like that, of what they could do as after high school, different opportunities there. So
and what I like about this is that you have so many types, kind of with track or some of the other extracurriculars or band, you have a lot of different types who are able to join. And this sounding with 100, and and there's a lot of barriers that are removed. that allows so many kids to be a part of. And I think that's a good lesson for us teachers to think about ways in our own classrooms how to, like Joe was pointing out, like there's different roles, there's different skill sets that we can help promote that help kids feel like they're part and they can be successful in a classroom. I love that you're doing that with this club. What would you say is one of the lids or barriers to your club growing even more? Like, what's one of the obstacles that keeps kids from being able to participate?
I would say probably the biggest barrier right now is just money and funding with everything. Right now we have something set up. We have a GoFundMe page.
Cool.
So we're trying to raise money that way. We're going to always be pushing towards that whenever we're doing like events and stuff like that. Esports is really expensive, and it's a lot of money to get set up with. Gaming PCs are the next level, and that's the highest level that you can go. Right now, our GoFundMe page, we're asking to receive money so we can start building like entry-level PCs, which are about $500 each. And so, and we've got enough to actually buy our first gaming PC and build it. So that's one thing. We would eventually like to have like 6 or so. And then we can start upgrading them and just putting more money into the PCs so they run better, so they support the games, and the kids are able to perform at those higher levels.
All right, so you need $3,000.
Yeah.
All right.
We're getting there. We're fifth of the way there.
GoFundMe.
Fifth of the way.
Let's hit that number. Help those guys out. Hey, what's something that you've been reading or watching that's like inspires you? And
inspiring me, there's a lot of different like YouTube videos and YouTubers that I'll watch. I normally relay that on to like my esports kids. For inspiration in my classroom and everything like that, there's a couple of podcasts that I've listened to. A YouTuber by the name of Kyle Hill, and he does Because Science. And I actually got to share this with my kids last week. It's he breaks down like the physics behind specific Marvel movies and everything like that. And he's got the like crazy long hair. He kind of looks like Thor. He's pretty cool. And we did like a discussion board with that where the kids watched it and then they replied to like what they found interesting. And a lot of them were saying it's interesting how you think of just a movie as just being a movie, but there's so many aspects behind it and the science behind that and connecting it to like their real world, and they understand, okay, physics is actually connected to this and this and this, then they're like, oh, okay, so this is why we're learning it and this is why it's important.
Hey, for some of our audience who may not know what Twitch is, can you give like a quick 10, 20 second of what is Twitch?
Yeah. So Twitch is like the social media for video game streaming. So basically what we can do now that we have our Twitch channel is anytime we're doing a competition, we can actually get that, like show you exactly what we're doing live on Twitch. Because of safety concerns, we have like a 60-second delay. So if we're actually playing, that way the other team can't like watch our stream and then be like, okay, they're right there, so we know exactly where they are. Yeah, so that's what Twitch is, and I'm really happy and really thankful that we were able to actually get that account up and running. So hopefully you'll be seeing a lot more of us on
right. So I can't lie. When you said the 60-second delay was for safety concerns, I was thinking you were thinking about inappropriate things being posted or hacking your account, and you're just like, no, we still want to get shot. So what's something in 2020 that you thought we would have, but we still don't have?
I think technology is kind of taken a slow as far as like for public. Like I thought by 2020 I would at least have service in my own house, and I still don't have cell service at my house. We can determine how far an asteroid is in space that's like 1,000 light years away, but we can't figure out how to get cell service to everybody on the Earth that we're living in right now.
Good point.
Also, like as far as drive-through goes, like you can't hear the person in the speaker, but we can communicate with people way over there and like across the side of the planet. So
I agree.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Hilarious.
Let's prioritize especially this COVID year. Prioritize the fast food. Yeah.
Fast food microphones. That's what you're going to run on. That's your like political.
Yeah, that's
political platform.
Well, Noah, thank you for joining us today and on this crazy adventure.
Let's keep learning.